Hello and welcome to the Passion Driven Pioneers interview series. I'm your host, John Channon, and today I'm joined by Julian Wagner, who is the co-founder and chief development officer of the Game Show Studio. Julian, thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me, John. I'm super happy to be here.
Yeah, that's great. So would you like to just kick us off with a brief background as to who you are, what you do, and then the business that you're in?
Yeah. So once again, my name is Julian Wagner. I'm the co-founder of the Game Show Studio. If you haven't heard of us, the Game Show Studio is a fully immersive game show concept where you and your friends or your colleagues and your family can come and play several of those games that you watch on TV. So our experience is based around delivering like an immersive show, right? So when you get into one of our studios, you'll really get a chance to really feel the energy from the environmental elements, such as your lights and your sound, and then our hosts really do a phenomenal job of like driving the show experience.
Yeah, this is kind of a unique little business. So talk to us about what was that initial spark that led you to get into this type of business, right? Because it's very different than anything else I know that's out there.
Yeah, great question. So I have a background in producing like brand activations, so large scale brand activations. And when I made my way over to the company that I'm at now, my business partner and I, we had some time to sit down and just kind of go through, hey, what's the next big thing, right? Like what's something that we can develop that people will love, and it's in the experiential entertainment space. So we put our minds together and we came up with the game show studio concept. And of course, we did a test run at Roseville with our new studio build, and people loved it. And that's Roseville, Minnesota. People loved it. So from there, we've been scaling upwards.
That's great. So you talked a little bit about the experience that you had in that brand. What did you call it? Action
Brand activations.
activations, brand activations. Talk to us about how you kind of leveraged some of that experience at the beginning when you guys were first starting this up, and then what were some of the things that you learned along the way that you recognized you needed to develop?
Yeah, so another great question. So with brand activations, if you don't know what that is, if you're not familiar, it's connecting a brand to a unique, I guess, first person experience where the consumer can interact with the brand in a way that kind of keeps them front of mind, right? So if you've been to like an auto show or you've been to a state fair, what you'll find is a lot of brands have spaces where you can go and you can, let's say, sit into the car and you can talk with a specialist that tells you about the car, in exchange for maybe some information where they can remarket to you. So my experience there, I have roughly 15 years of experience designing and producing brand activations for quite a few large companies. So what I really learned when I was doing that was getting people into your space and giving them a good time, right? Showing them, hey, you can have fun with a brand when you're in this space. So fast forward to the game show. The game show concept is all about fun, right? Game shows are timeless. So what our ultimate goal was to get people into our space. And then once they're in our space, give them an experience that they're going to remember and talk to their friends and family about. So to answer your question, John, it goes all the way to really understanding the consumer, and finding a way to get the consumer into your space, giving them a good time. And then with the game show, we built a studio where it's, you have sensory overload when you walk into the space and you're like, wow, this is amazing. And then, our hosts, which is the person element, come up and they really deliver that show for the consumers to enjoy.
Yeah, so many people play these game shows at home, right? When they're watching their television, but I'm sure it's a lot more exciting to be there in the game show studio.
It is, man. It's a lot of fun. I always tell people if they haven't been, when we built out our Roseville studio, for me it was one of those things like, okay, we built this. We were in there really building it hand by hand. We were doing it, and to see that first group walk into the space and their eyes light up like that kind of gave me, an okay. It made me feel like, you know what, this is going to be really good.
So you're a co-founder, right? So there's other co-founders. I don't know how many, but maybe talk about the skill set that you bring, and then maybe the co-founders. And is there like a separation of duties that you guys have, and how did you divide those up?
Yeah, great question. So Jack Slayton is my other business partner. He's a great guy. He has a special skill set in the finance department, and he's also like he handles like the operational oversight, right? So he's really good with people and managing teams and building those teams. I am the person that focuses on the marketing. I focus on the production. So what you see within the four walls of the space. And then both Jack and I kind of tag team, delivering the actual show experience. We also have a corporate sales department, and that corporate sales department is focused on, for large corporations, really driving a unique team building experience. That's one of our key values, right? Like we want to give corporations the opportunity to experience something that's not the standard team building experience. And we want to give them something that's elevated and give them that white glove service along the way. So we plan everything from the catering to the entertainment component to the happy hour that's after the experience. And we do that across the country.
Yeah, so would you say is that kind of your target clientele, kind of doing corporate team building type or those types of
Yeah,
events?
Yeah, so we have there's two sides of that. We focus on the small groups, right? And we call that like the small consumer, where that's you and your friends just coming in with a group of 6 people, 10 people, or you and your family just bringing your family to the game show and experience the game show that way. And then the other side of our business, as I mentioned, is like those large group experiences. So we're opening a studio in Kansas City next month, and that studio is going to be roughly 1,100 square feet. So we're going to be able to fit, roughly 50 to 60 people in there at one time. And then, I told you, John, earlier, we have a studio down in Houston where we have 2 studio rooms. One of them is roughly 700 square feet, and the other one is smaller. It's 400 square feet. But in that, it's co-located with some escape rooms. What we do there is we've been able to drive 150 to 200 people in that space. So it's been really cool to just see the large group element evolve.
That's great. That's great. So talk to us about what it was like at the beginning. What was kind of that work-life balance as you guys were starting this up? And then has it changed at all, or is it still kind of a bit hectic?
Yeah, I'd say at the start, it was a lot of brainstorming. It was getting people together, a lot of creative minds, getting them together for the branding side of things, and then of course sitting down in rooms with more creative people, really delivering like the experience, right? So it was a lot of work, and I'd say once we came up with our first design for our Roseville studio. Getting in there and building it out ourselves was also, I mean, for me, it was a ton of fun. Like I enjoy doing that stuff because you get firsthand experience. You see what works and what doesn't work, and you can tweak things on the fly. So for me, it was getting in there, really, getting my hands dirty, alongside Jack, and we really just got in the trenches and really pulled it together. So I'd say the work-life balance was there, but it was also a heavy grind, right? It was a sprint, right? You got to focus to get something off the ground within a condensed timeline. And then I'd say on the life side, my wife, she's my rock. She's been supporting me, through and through. So, she has been, the a pivotal factor in me really focusing and delivering the results that we're delivering. So, and my kids also. Like I have a 10-year-old girl, I have a 9-year-old son, Julian Jr., and then a 7-year-old girl. They're also my motivating factors as well.
That's got to be a lot of fun. So, maybe talk to us a little bit about what are some of the things that you guys do to remain innovative in this space? Or are you already just innovative and now it's just a matter of making sure people know about you?
Yeah, so we are pretty innovative right now. So we're in extreme growth mode, right? So we're expanding across the country. As I mentioned, we have a location that's opening in Kansas City very soon. We just signed a deal with Atlanta, so we'll be opening in Atlanta very soon. We have 2 locations in California right now. We'll be opening a third in December. So we're in extreme growth mode. Now, alongside growth of new locations, we're always going to be innovating on the actual show. So we'll be delivering new games for our customers. So if you've been to the game show studio, we're going to be delivering new games for you guys and marketing them. So you'll hear about them very, very soon. We want to make sure that our content is fresh. We want to make sure that our games are fun. And we're listening to our customers, right? If there's a game show that they want to play and we're hearing that, we're going to deliver that for them.
Yeah, so you talked about listening to your customers. Tell us a little bit more about are you gathering that type of feedback and maybe how do you go about doing that?
Yeah. So on the corporate side, we send out just overall feedback, experience feedback surveys after every single event. And then as I mentioned, we have a whole corporate sales team. Once we get that feedback, our corporate sales teams, we meet and we sit down and we determine what do we need to tweak to make this experience better for our clients. So that's on the corporate sales side. And then, of course, with the experience, we do the same thing, right? Like we ask our customers, what games do you guys want to see? What games do you guys want to play? How would you tweak the games that you came in and played? And that's very important, right? Consumer feedback drives our business because it's a consumer forward game.
Yeah, no, that's great. And I appreciate you sharing that with the audience too, that how you guys go about doing that's really, really nice to learn. So you talked a little bit about kind of the future plans and goals for the business, but what does success look like for you guys 5 years down the road?
If we could quantify success, I would say at minimum having 50 locations across the United States. That would be success for me. I'd look at that as, you know what, we built something from the ground up and it's scaled and it's doing really, really well. So I think 50 locations is like the number that I have in my head. But ultimately, it's going to come down to just continuing to drive great experiences for our customers and getting the feedback from our customers. So at our Houston location, we just cracked 10,000 five-star Google reviews.
Ooh,
Yeah, so that's something that we've been holding our hat on, and we want to continue to drive that type of experience and those type of results across every location.
yeah, well, to get 10,000 five-star reviews, I can only imagine how many people have been to that location.
Yes, yes, quite a few.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's good news. So congratulations on that. So
Yeah, thank
So, Julian, knowing that this show is going to be targeted towards people that are thinking about starting up a business or maybe in their first few years of business, do you have any final thoughts or words of advice you'd like to share with our audience today?
Yeah, I would say the first thing I'd say is if you have an idea, never be afraid to just take that leap and bring that idea to life. And I'd say that because there's so many of us that think, well, people aren't going to like our idea or they're hesitant about taking that step. So I would say, the worst thing that can happen is someone just says no. And at the end of the day, that's fine. Like, because if one person says no, two people will say yes. So I would say if you have an idea, don't be afraid to bring it to life and don't let adversity slow you down. Adversity is one of those things that, I welcome because it shows me where I have gaps and it shows me, hey, this is an opportunity for you to get better. Those two things are very important. And then I would say, find a team of people that, that believe in what you believe in and they really want what's best for you. My business partner, Jack, he's been great. We've been working alongside each other and he motivates me every day. We lift each other up, which I think is very, very important. Yeah, so those are the three things that I would say. Don't be afraid to take that leap. Adversity is your friend, and build your success with a team that believes in you and wants to lift you up and sees your vision just as much as you see theirs.
That's really great. So, listen, thank you so much for your time today, Julian.
Yeah, John, thank you, man.
Yeah, and I know I shared with you that, my family is a big gaming family. Anytime we get together, we play games together. Might have to get them over to one of the locations here in Minnesota sometime soon.
Yeah, please do. I mean, and I'll just end it by saying www.gameshowstudio.com. Right now, we have locations in Minnesota. We have one in Eden Prairie at Eden Prairie Center and Rosedale Center in Roseville, Minnesota. We have two locations in Texas, Houston and Fort Worth. And we have two locations in California. We have one in San Diego, one in Sacramento, and we'll be opening one in Concord very soon. We'll also be opening Kansas City and Atlanta very soon. So I hope to see you, John, and your audience as well at our studios.
That's great. So thank you, Julian. And to everyone watching, I look forward to seeing you in the next episode.